Hi, I am Michael Santos with Prison Professors, and I'm super enthusiastic to be making this video today on August the 28th, 2020. I am creating this video specifically for people who are locked in jails and prison. This is part of our Prison Professors program to teach and inspire people who are inside. We're striving to let them know how important it is to use your time while incarcerated to prepare for a life of meaning and relevance and success. And sometimes it's hard to make that connection. That's something I know a lot about. If you have the Prison Professors program in your institution, you know that I was in prison from 1987 until my release in 2013. So it's been about 7 years since I concluded my obligation to the Bureau of Prisons. After 9,500 total days as a prisoner. Since I've been home, I've been building businesses and creating opportunities, and all of those opportunities really stemmed from the way that I prepared while I was incarcerated. Now, as you can see, I'm filming this video from the comfort of my home, and I do this every day because I'm absolutely committed to helping people understand that it's really important to use your time inside wisely. That's not a message that I got while I was going through that journey. And while I was going through that journey, I was inspired by people like Nelson Mandela or Malcolm X or Viktor Frankl or Gandhi or other people that had built their lives in difficult or challenging circumstances. And I really felt grateful for the way that they taught me how to develop a positive mindset and how to prepare for success regardless of where I am, regardless of what's going on. And so it didn't matter if I was in a high security penitentiary, a medium security federal correctional institution, a low security prison, a minimum security camp. I recognized the importance of using every single day in an effort to prepare for success. And that's one of the things I always say. And you can see this in any of the courses that I bring inside of prisons and jails. You will always see that I never ask anybody to do anything that I didn't do while I was in prison and that I am not still doing right now. And I just wanted to share these things that I am doing to give hope, because there's this message that reverberates throughout the prison system telling us that regardless of what we do while we're inside, nothing really matters. And the best way to serve time, the mantra goes, is to forget about the world outside and to focus on time inside. But that's the worst kind of advice somebody can give. In fact, if somebody ever gives you that advice, I encourage you to develop the critical thinking skills to question, well, how has that theory worked out for the people that are advising me? Okay, and so in order to build a level of trust and credibility, I create these videos regularly and I send them into jails and prisons to show people that every single decision you make is going to have a direct relationship on how successful you become or what opportunities open for you. And I'll always share with you the exact things that I am doing. And today, I'm super enthusiastic because I have new opportunities to distribute this information to more jails and prisons across America. In fact, I'm working with the California Department of Corrections, where I get to provide these to more than 100 these videos to more than 100,000 people inside of the prisons. And if you're in the California Department of Corrections, we have a milestone program where you can actually get time off of your sentence by completing the Prison Professors courses. Okay, that now the Prison Professors course is one thing, but these videos are really designed to keep you engaged, to keep you working towards something productive and something positive. And so what I will be doing with these videos is interviewing formerly incarcerated people that emerged successfully and went on to build businesses, just like the interviews that are part of the Prison Professors program. I will also interview business leaders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, people with hiring capacity, and we'll talk with them about what they would like to see from a formerly incarcerated person who's trying to get into the job market. I will also provide courses that will give a little bit of insight with regard to very specific types of information so that you can learn along the way. And I'm going to record these myself. I am not a high production studio. I'm a guy just like anybody else who's watching this show. Somebody who's gone through challenging circumstances, but somebody who's always focused on building something more, on building a life of productivity and meaning and relevance. That's what the Prison Professors curriculum is all about. And these regular videos that we produce are designed to kind of supplement or augment that material. And there are things that I can do on these videos that I would like to share with you and show you. So sometimes I'll be able to share my screen. In fact, that's something I'm going to do right now because I want to share with you one of the exciting projects that I'm working on to generate more resources that will allow me to hire formerly incarcerated people, or that can help me with the productions of this material or the distribution of this material. You see, it's really important for somebody to recognize, if I want to solve a problem, I have to really work to define success. And in my case, I am defining success with this commitment to try and have an impact on the world, to influence more people. I really believe that our nation's commitment to mass incarceration has been one of the greatest social injustices of our time. And as a result of it being a great social injustice, there are ancillary consequences. So, the longer a person spends in corrections a lot of times, the less likely that person is to be able to emerge successfully. They face challenges in the job market. They face challenges in the housing market. They face challenges just getting stability in society. Sometimes banks won't even work with them. Well, at Prison Professors, we want to try and change that work. And that's one of the reasons that we publish all of the videos that we send into the prisons. We also publish on our Prison Professors YouTube channel because we want your family to be engaged as well. So if you're watching this inside of a jail or a prison, we encourage you, have your wife, have your parents, have your husband, have your children subscribe to the Prison Professors YouTube channel so that they can engage. And if they have questions, we're going to do our best to respond to those questions, to bring more awareness to the society that was really closed while I was serving my sentence. And we want to open it up. We want to make more people aware about what's going on and what can we do to improve outcomes. So I'm focusing on these different aspects of profiling formerly incarcerated people that emerge successfully, because I think that what you're going to find is all of them share the same message. That is, the decisions that they make while they're in prison have an enormous influence on the opportunities that open for them outside, both good and bad. Okay, if a person prepares himself well, he's going to find out that there are opportunities for employment, opportunities for business, opportunities to recalibrate and live a life of meaning and relevance and dignity. If a person doesn't prepare well, if a person, instead of thinking about how to prepare for success outside, he's thinking about how to prepare or how to live inside of the prison or the penitentiary, he's going to find a lot of challenges when he comes out. He's going to find a limited support network. He's going to find fewer opportunities to grow. And I know that if you're sitting inside of a jail cell or inside of a prison, this type of information can get you thinking. It can help you develop critical thinking skills. So one of the strategies I told you I was going to share my screen that I'm working on is the same strategy that I'm suggesting that each of you follow. And that's, really develop the CEO mindset. It starts by defining success, right? So what I'm saying to you, I'm telling you, I will never ask you to do anything I didn't do while I was in prison and that I'm not still doing now. And how am I defining success at this particular time? It's, I know I want to influence more people who are serving time in jails and prisons, and I want to help them understand how to make better decisions, how to prepare for a life of meaning and relevance and dignity when they get out, because nobody can deliver that for you. Right? We can provide the tools and the resources, but the individual has to execute. That's the CEO mindset. And I will be profiling CEOs who validate this. In fact, recently I published a video, an interview with a fellow by the name of James, who's an IT director, does business all over the world, helping businesses solve IT problems. And he spoke about how these same principles he uses to build a more successful business. And there's nothing more important than the business of your life. That's what I learned while I was going through 26 years in prison. Nobody was going to prepare me for success, so I had to do it. And that's what you will see in all of the books and the courses that Prison Professors makes available. So if you have those books and courses inside of your institution, I will challenge you, take the strategies, learn how you can use them in your life. And if you're a family member and you want to see the links to those books and courses, you can find them in the show notes below. The second prong is, once you've defined success, a second prong of the CEO mindset is to develop a strategy and document that strategy. So I want to show you how I am doing that today. So that's that. If I had a tripod here, I would kind of show you, because you can think of a tripod, right? Or maybe the concept is better to describe a three-legged stool, right? If you've got a three-legged stool and the legs are positioned well, that stool will stand. But if you take away one of the legs or two of the legs, that stool has no possibility of standing. It's the same thing when you're defining success in your life. You've got to have this three-legged stool, and the first leg of that stool is the strategy. You've got to document the strategy. And the second leg is you've got to develop your own tools, tactics, and resources that will help you execute on the strategy. And the third leg of the stool is you've got to measure your progress every single day. So when I tell you that I am using that right now, I'm defining success as wanting to create resources that will have a bigger impact on the world, that will influence more people. But there's a challenge. And that challenge for me, I know, is financial resources. Okay, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning and nobody is paying me to create this video. I'm doing this because I was in there and I'm committed to trying to provide more resources. But it costs money to buy equipment like this microphone, or the computer I'm recording on, or the software that allows me to edit, or other cameras that I have around me. If I'm going to hire people, that costs money. So I have to create a strategy that will help me get there, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to share my screen with you right now, and I will show you kind of how it looks. So here is let me find a finder. I've got a couple of screens here on my Apple monitor. So I'm going to open a new Finder window, and if I go to this Finder window, I will log onto my iCloud, and I'm going to go to Business Development folder. So you'll notice that I have this hierarchical filing system, because I create a lot of content, and this content is where I store it, and I've got to be able to store it easily. So if I come down here, find this is business development, I come down here to prison profit versus nonprofit. Prison Professors, okay, I can expand this window here, as you can see. This is the Prison Professors Advocacy Nonprofit. So I want to show you how I am going about raising capital that will allow me to produce more content. And one of the things that I recently did is I formed a nonprofit. So if I go into this document, you will see that I created this folder that's for the IRS. And this is how I created a nonprofit. I had to create articles of incorporation, and I had to create bylaws, and this is what it looks like. So here's the bylaws of the corporation. It's describing very specifically what am I trying to accomplish. So in this product here, I am showing the where I keep my offices. I'm showing how what I have to do in Section 2. These are all the bylaws that I had to write in order to create a a nonprofit, which is a 501c3. And the reason that I wanted to create a nonprofit is I wanted to go to businesses, big businesses that have an interest in improving outcomes of the criminal justice system. And I wanted to show them that that if I can create this content and bring it into prisons and jails across America, we can have an influence on tens of thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people. And I've asked them to sponsor the program. So if they sponsor the program, they will provide the resources that allow me to produce books and give those books away if the institution or the individual cannot afford to buy them. So this is all part of a strategy, right? It is the strategy of building a nonprofit. And this is the amount of work that I have to create to build a nonprofit. Is I have to write all of this content, as you can see, and you can see I have to get a board of directors, and this board of directors will serve as all as volunteers. So we're not getting paid for this. The only purpose of getting the nonprofit is to generate money so that we can distribute and create more resources to teach and inspire people who are in prison. I really believe this is a public-private responsibility. So I need to develop relationships with prison systems and with tablet providers that will allow me to distribute and bring this program into jails and prisons. But simultaneously, I need to develop relationships with corporations that will provide the financial resources I need to build the nonprofit, so that I have enough money, because you got to have the money right in order to have an impact on the world, right? Without money, you can't buy these computers. You can't do the things that we have to do. And that's what one of the things that I've tried to teach and show people throughout all of the Prison Professors courses. I'm filming this, as I said, this particular video on August the 28th, 2020. And, as those of you who are watching this contemporaneously, you know that we're in a pandemic. We're in a situation where tens of millions of people are out of work, and those people don't have felony backgrounds. So if those people are out of work, imagine how much more difficult it would be for somebody like me to go out into the job market, somebody who served 26 years in federal prison. Well, if I have prepared myself well, I develop the confidence to know, okay, I know how to present a message of creating value. I know how to give that message to prospective employers or to prospective business partners. And that's what I am doing. I have to go out, and I'm not going to go out and ask for a job, because I position myself well, as you know from some of my earlier courses and the other videos that I've brought in there. I mean, I've done millions of dollars of transactions since I've come out of prison. And those transactions have given me a sense of liberty that I can go and work to create more opportunities that I hope will have more scale and influence more people. But my strategy now is, I don't only want to fund this out of my own pocket, I want to get partners. And those partners should be business owners. Why business owners? Because they have an interest in building safer communities. And if the recidivism rate is very high, I want those business owners to see one of the ways that we can bring down that recidivism is by helping people who are in jails and prisons understand, what do I have to do to prepare for a life of meaning and relevance and dignity? What do I have to do to open new opportunities? What do I have to do to sell myself so that people aren't only looking at me as a result of the bad decisions that I made that brought me into prison, but rather are looking at me for the way that I responded to those decisions. So I'm documenting that strategy of why this project at Prison Professors nonprofit brings value to society. And by making that message, I can go to businesses and say, I need tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, so that I can give this content away to people who can't afford to buy it, or to institutions that have budgets that are strapped. And the more resources I raise through a nonprofit, the more I can I can hire formerly incarcerated people, or the more I can distribute more books, or the more I can build a record to show people what does it take to be successful if you've got a prison record. And in the books, you'll see that I'm not asking anybody to do anything that I didn't do. This was how I spent my time in prison, is I focused on developing this mindset of success, this mindset of defining success, of creating a plan, of putting priorities in place, and executing that plan every single day. But that plan has to be deliberate, and we absolutely have to document it. Otherwise, people will accuse us of just being lucky. I can't tell you how many times people will say to me, oh, well, you're different. Not everybody can do what you do. I don't believe that, and you don't believe that. You know as well as I know that you can achieve any level of success that you set your mind to. But you've got to start by sowing the seeds. In the Prison Professors program, I give this analogy about planting a seed. Okay, you've got to plant a seed that is going to grow into a tree that provides abundance for the rest of your life. And that seed, to grow from a seed into a big tree or an orchard of trees that are providing fruit for the rest of your life, you have to do work. You don't just dig a hole and plant the seed. You've also got to feed that seed. And when you feed that seed, you frequently feed it with fertilizer. And we know what fertilizer is. Fertilizer is, a lot of times, the best fertilizer is livestock manure. And so if you're feeding the seed with livestock manure, you know that that seed has to grow through the manure, right? That's the same thing you have to do. You've got to grow through a lot of manure if you want to build a life of success and meaning and relevance. And you can start planting that seed even if you are locked inside of a concrete bunker, whether it's a segregated housing unit in a high security prison, or whether you're in a jail where you're just trying to get your life started. The truth is that you've got to start. You can't you can't be doing this for a certificate or for a lower bunk pass or for an extra bowl of Wheaties or whatever they're offering you inside of the prison. You need to do this because you are making an investment in yourself. That's what I had to learn while I was going through 26 years in prison. And that's the message that I am absolutely committed to giving to as many people as possible who are in jail or in prison. So I'm going to close here for today, but I'm producing more videos all the time and I'm distributing them all the time, and I'm super grateful to be able to do this. If you have a message, have your families visit the Prison Professors YouTube channel and leave a message in the comments section, and I will do my best to make a video specifically for you. Whether you're in any of the CDCR institutions, whether you're in the Bureau of Prisons and you have access to this program, whether you're in some of the jails that have access to this program, I produce content every single day because I'm committed to helping you find the pathway to success. If you're watching this outside, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and please support our sponsors. CBDTV.com is one of our sponsors, and if you use CBD, please visit that website and use that product. I am Michael Santos with Prison Professors, hoping that you will subscribe and hoping that you find meaning in this message. Thank you.